England, a country rich in heritage and history, complemented with a resonating landscape of rolling hills, chalk downs and tranquil meadows. And if those feet in ancient times did indeed walk upon this green and pleasant land, then they would have most certainly stopped off in the picturesque village of Ravenswood. With the Ravenswood Rock, prison gallows and a ruined Benedictine monastery contributing to the village's historic tapestry, the town has become well known as a popular tourist destination. But there's more to Ravenswood than just tea rooms and retired people. Bubbling under the surface like a mystical cauldron of mysticism, ancient folklore, myths and legends about ghosts, fairies and the devil have been part of the village's heritage for well over 1,000 years. But it was back in the 1960s that an alleged paranormal incident occurred. This event, coupled with the spiritual power of the area, would dramatically affect the village in a way the residents never expected. Welcome to Ravenswood. This quintessential English country village has had a long association with farming and working off the land. Indeed, during the Civil War, Oliver Cromwell visited the town and famously noted that there were more sheep in the village than people. Some families have lived here for generations, whilst others, who've made their money in the towns and cities, have proudly patted themselves on the back and rewarded themselves with their own slice of English country life.
So we've lived here for 5 years. We married
5 years, married for
4. Yes, we married in the local church, and I give tours around Ravenswood, and it seems to be quite popular with loads of elderly people
like
from
it.
Brighton, and they come
Harks
up
back
on the
to a
coast.
golden age.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's right. And I give tours of the village every Tuesday and Thursday, and I'm going to have to do some on Saturday, yes, because there are so many. I mean, they came flooding in last week, didn't they?
Imagine twice a day on Saturday.
I thrive on the village life, all the buildings and who designed them and how they were created, the reasons they were created. I mean, there's a monastery. People love the mystical tales around the monastery.
Yes, the ghost stories and the myths.
They love them telling ghost stories.
I'm a local archaeologist. I've actually discovered some remains whilst I've been here. You know, I like to potter around and see what I can find and get things excavated. I feel that that's the contribution I can make to the history, the patchwork.
Samuel Pepys, the famous diarist, wrote in 1664 that Ravenswood hath as much charm and beauty as the renowned Kingston upon Thames, but without the smell and the beggars.
Well, we've lived in this rather beautiful village for, oh Lord, about 13 years now?
14 years.
13, I think it is.
13
years now, and we've seen a lot of changes over the years. It's a beautiful place, but it's attracted all sorts of very strange people here, actually. But we have a very full life here. We've been welcomed right from the... And they talk about, you know, coming into new villages and places like that, and that if you're an outsider, sometimes, where is it, they call them grockles, sometimes.
Yes.
We've never felt that, ever. I've never felt like a grockle. I do believe, as a Christian, really, that it's our fundamental duty to be involved in our community and give our best of ourselves to our community, and that's what we try to do in every day of our lives. I mean, we're a little over-involved, really, a little bit busy. I'm swept off my feet all of the time, but we do a lot of charity work.
We've done a lot of charity work for Flame, and the blankets for
Africa. Which I send to the orphanages, because, you know, one thing is Africa's a very hot place. Night
actually, it gets very cold at night.
I'm explaining this. It's very, very cold at night. The Serengeti and all around there, it's very cold, especially around the sort of the sub-Saharan areas. If you're just, you know, in the desert, it's very cold at night. Those people are virtually savages. I mean, I don't think they know what a blanket is, really.
No, well, they do now.
Yes, I've got a whole storeroom of blankets upstairs. People are very generous. In fact, old Mrs. Peasbody herself was knitting one. It's beautiful. She's actually done it, hand-stitched little crosses in, and it's beautiful.
Very inspiring.
It took her a long time as well with her arthritis.
And I'm involved in the mission to Seaman.
Well, I'm a new vicar of Ravenswood. I started 2 weeks ago now. it's my first big position, and I'm honoured to be here. I'm taking over from the Canon Smallwood, who was here for 27 years. A congregation of around 25, 24 now that poor Mrs. Higgins has passed away. There's a lot of love here. There's a lot of devout Christians here. I think you've already met the goodies. Well, their devoutness knows no bounds, and they've been a great welcome to me, a great help to me. I'm getting to know the local villagers, to get to know what Ravenswood's about.
Then lifted I up mine eyes, and looked, and behold, there came out 2 women, and the wind was in their wings, for they had wings like the wings of a stork, and they lifted up the ephah, between the earth and the heaven. Then said I to the angel that talked with me, Whither do these bear the ephah? And he said unto me, to build it an house in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established and set there upon her own base. And this is the word of God.
But as far as the villagers are concerned, in every paradise lies a serpent. The mystical power of the local landscape, in particular Milton Meadow, has, in recent years, become a mecca for hippies, New Age gurus, pagans, and travellers.
What should we do with the drunken druid? Drunken sailor, druid fluid. What should we do with the drunken druid? Aloi in the
From the villagers' point of view, the influx of new arrivals hasn't been helped by the influence of this man, landowner and dowser Dominic Clay.
I moved to Ravenswood about 3 years ago. I've always been drawn to spiritual landscapes, and the tranquil setting of the village and its surrounding area has been a very, very powerful draw for me. I've actually been very fortunate to actually receive an OBE. That's an out-of-body experience. Actually, I remember the situation very, very clearly. It was during a particularly dull dinner party with my then wife. I remember keeling over, blacking out. And when I woke up in the hospital, I just had this amazing experience of looking down on myself, there lying in the bed. And I realised that I'd actually touched upon some unseen energy, and realised that I'd now become a dowser of earth energy lines. That was my new aim in life. So I gave up my job, divorced my wife, and thought the only thing I could do now was embark on a world dowsing tour.
Given exclusive access to Dominic's personal home video collection, his camcorder footage provides a fascinating record of the world's mysterious Earth mysteries.
Okay, this is day 67 of my world dowsing tour. I've been tracing a ley line that I picked up in San Diego, and it's passed up through into Los Angeles. What's very interesting is the ley line passes through the Hollywood sign. And what's also of note, the ley line goes through the 2 L's of that sign. 2 L's as in ley line. So that's very interesting.
But during this period, I actually became very interested in UFOs. Because I think ley lines and UFOs are twin pillars of Earth mysteries. It was during the tour that I met Amber in California. And at the end, we both decided to come back to England. I bought Milton Meadow and the farmhouse, where I've been ever since.
Sandwiched uncomfortably between quaint gift shops and oak-panelled tea rooms, Amber Chakra's New Age bookshop offers an impressive collection of mystical literature, as well as offering courses on crystal healing and advanced meditation.
I studied in Los Angeles at the College of Crystal Healing and Sound Healing, which is an excellent course it was. I'm also a member of the Complementary Medicine Association. I don't know why some of the villagers are sceptical about my work here, really. I mean, it's been developed for thousands and thousands of years, so, I mean, humanity survived all this time without modern medicine, so why now suddenly say, well, it doesn't work? Obviously it works for some people. I think they should all come to me and we should all meditate together and be peaceful. Because there's so much stress. I mean, 98% of my customers are fully happy or their money back.
Imagine a long, warm stream of air coming out of your mouth and you breathe out. Breathe in
Feel the relaxation travelling up from your fingers to your wrists. Feel it travelling through your arms to your shoulders, down to your chest, your solar plexus.
And that's one of the things that I've found since I've been here. There's a lot of love here. It's a very, very special place. It's a tranquil place, and see? Do you feel that tranquility? It's tangible. It's tangible.
Here we are, the River Raven, which runs right through the middle of the village, and just over there is the old site of the Benedictine monastery, which survived until the dissolution of the monasteries in 1536.
I found Ravenswood had a very, very strong ley line running through it, and I was very keen to sort of tap into that energy. And it's interesting because actually Ravenswood has the distinctiveness of having the only ley line in Britain that's bent.
Watch the rods very, very carefully. So walk along. There they go. Oh, there they go. There they go. So
What does it mean?
it means I've picked up an energy line. It's going straight through here to the monastery
Oh, that's super!
and going through this wall here. So I don't know what this wall's all about.
Oh,
So-
well, that's fabulous!
Yeah, so it's up to you. If you all this area might have something quite rich in archaeology, which is obviously your expertise. So.
Well.
How's it going?
It's all right. I've been correlating the evidence I found in sites 1 and 2, and I'm sure they're related to the one by the east wall in 3. And if I could just get a good trench dug there, I'm sure I could find some evidence about the extension to the monastery.
Excellent.
Yes.
Very exciting. I'll leave you to it.
Okay. I've been dowsing with Dominic Clay down by the east wall of the monastery, and I think that there's an extension there that dates from around the same time as the original building was actually built. So if we can get a trench dug, then I'm sure the council will give us some funds. I'm very grateful to Dominic. I don't know what I would have done without him.
Of the new arrivals, some people, like Rhiannon, prefer to shun the modern world and keep themselves to themselves, embracing the natural energy of the local woodland.
I believe in the forces of nature, in Mother Earth. I believe in the ancient wisdoms of the old gods. I don't have much time for society as it's become. I don't see people, I don't talk to people, I don't interact. Well, the only time I have to talk to people is obviously when I sign on, but apart from that, there's no interaction at all. O Mother Goddess, Queen of the night and of the earth, O Father God, King of the day and of the forests, I celebrate your union as nature rejoices with a riotous blaze of colour and of life.
I had a friend move to Ravenswood about a year ago, and when they moved into the village, one of the villagers came up to them and said, "Oh, welcome to Ravenswood. We have a very strong class structure in the village. We have the upper class being mild aristocracy, we have the middle class, and of course we have the working class." And my friend, who was a farmer, said, "Well, what am I?" And she said, "Oh, my dear, you're working class."
And then we have 25 hymn books. There's not a hymn book there. Well, normally we'd have, I'll put these last service books here. Then we have 25 service books with hymn books on the front pews. Gwenny has 25 hymn books and service books at the back, and that will normally cover us.
25.
Yes, unless there's a sudden influx, if there's christening or so on, then we have a cupboard there with some extra hymn books and service books. But that's the way we've always done it.
Right. And we each have our own particular hobbies as well.
Yes,
I like very fond of your
I like to
roses.
cultivate roses, and it's particularly beautiful bloom coming out at the moment, because I do enter into the Ravenswood Fair.
The show, the village show.
Yeah, I usually win as well.
Yes.
There's a rather good one,
Yeah,
Salvation, at the moment. It's a beautiful red bloom, and it's 10% of profits go to the Salvation Army, so one can grow with conscience, I feel.
Yes, Gwenny shows her roses and I show my Swedes. And this year's been very successful, hasn't it? Because I've changed from the yellow flowering head to the Marion. It worked very well, because I had terrible trouble last year with mildew and flea beetle.
Shocking.
And this year it's been much more successful, hasn't it? So we're quite pleased about that.
Yeah, so we're hoping to win this year as well.
You see, you have 7 centres. Here, 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 and here. They're called the chakras.
Oh, right.
It's the energy of your body, which is called the wheel of energy.
About 3 years ago, during my meditations, I started to get this buzzing noise, and in involuntary meditations, really, visions that I had no control over. And I thought I had a hearing problem because everywhere I went I heard this buzzing and this clicking sound, until I realised that there was some sort of pattern emerging. Somebody was trying to communicate with me. We're now at the situation where I am actually able to communicate with them and them with me. They're called the Kaplunak, a spiritual entity. No idea where they come from really, other than they're very, very strong mentally, and with us, with humanity really, they can achieve a heightened spirituality. It's an amazing feeling.
Yes, darling. Yes, all right, sweetheart. All right, we'll see you tomorrow, yes. Yes, all right, I love you too. All right, babe. All right, see you then, darling. Goodbye. It was Elizabeth, my daughter, and she's coming down to support us.
There's something I'd like to show you. You remember about the kink in the ley line I was talking about earlier? This is the spot where it happens, and that's very significant because here is the spot for Ravenswood's very own UFO abduction in the 1960s.
Apparently, it had 3 multicoloured lights that hovered in the sky, emitting a strange, unearthly sound.
Well, I think it's always important to find as much physical evidence to do with the 1960s incident as you possibly can, because all this relates to something very significant that's going to happen in this village in a couple of months' time.
The original incident has since passed into modern folklore, but the story is about to enter a dramatic new chapter.
They first arrived here and visited us about 40 years ago, but I don't think we were spiritually ready for them then. So they're coming back to Ravenswood.
It's wonderful news. It's like an orgasm of joy that our friends, the visitors, are returning to Earth. Right here in Milton Meadow.
The UFO returning to Ravenswood? Is there any truth in this, or one person's vivid imagination?
It was Amber Chakra who told me, the local clairvoyant, said that the UFO is going to land in Milton Meadow on the summer solstice. That's the 21st of June. So that's going to be an exciting day.
Of course, not everyone shares this revelation enthusiastically.
This UFO nonsense is completely ruining our village.
Yes.
I'm sure it wasn't like this when it all started in the 60s, was it?
Absolutely not. No, it's
not the plague
overrun with these frightful people. I mean, the other morning I caught them dousing across my rockery.
It's
I just planted a number of new annuals And these chaps were charging across there, trampling them.
We get them all
and when
the
I
time.
remonstrated, I told them...
Our field backs onto Milton Meadows, where all
Dousing.
this problem is. And Dominic Clay lets them run riot, and they're appalling.
Yes.
Basically, they're heathens spiritual pirates,
Yes.
who come down here on some whim, and I feel something should be done. It should be done. Dominic Clay should do something about this, because he's letting them run riot, and I don't know what they're here for. They're expecting some miraculous return. Well, I can tell you, the only return is going to be Jesus Christ. He's the only person who is coming back to redeem them. This is the devil stalking the earth. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. And those people out there are being devoured, and we're being devoured by this. Our whole village is upset by it. And excuse me for being cynical about all of this, but I'm sure that Dominic Clay is earning a lot of money out of those people.
Yes.
They sell all sorts of strange things to them, don't they? And I don't know
And
what,
the drugs,
amulets
of
and refreshments, whatever. Earning a fortune.
Right. Well, I'm just putting up a poster. As you can see, it's quite self-explanatory. Hippies and aliens welcome, inquire within. That's what we want, you see, at St. Michael's. Everybody is welcome through these doors. Whether you're a hippie, whether you're an alien.
Elizabeth Goody is studying music at King's College, Cambridge, but returns home to support her parents during this difficult time.
Very good. Now, what else do you want to sing?
Very popular with the Mission to Seamen.
Yes. May I just please read the Bible passage? I feel inspired, Vicar. I hope you don't mind. But it does say here, be filled with the Spirit, speaking to yourselves in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing and making melody in your hearts to the Lord.
Indeed.
I think that's very appropriate at this time.
Yeah, I look forward to it too. Okay. Thanks, Oscar. Bye now. I've just been talking to Oscar Steinman, who's a ufologist. I met him actually during the Area 51 situation in the Nevada desert during my world dowsing tour. And it's that incident that fueled my interest in UFOs. And Oscar and I have become friends ever since. And he's coming over now to help me with the return and chronicle it, maybe put it in his new book. So yeah, I'm very excited indeed about that.
It's quite frightening actually. We have been shot at by a security firm around Area 51. We've managed to evade them, which is good. This whole part's got a bit 10 to the dozen at the moment. There is something going on there, and I think they are trying to cover up anybody's trying to get in there and seeing what's going on. It does bear closer inspection, but I don't think we're going to be able to do that anymore. I value our lives too much. I'm going to try and go and find a coffee somewhere because I'm quite frightened at the moment. But yeah, I think that'll do for the minute.
Spirituality means to me freedom. I just feel since I've been on the farm with Dominic, who's put me up for the last couple of months now, I feel I've come as one person with him. We've got together as a group and we've really bonded, and their return to me just means everything. And I think they're coming to the right place because they want to be at one with us as well, you know. And I feel at peace within, but now, because we have this whole wave of people that all believe in the one thing, it's a chance for me to open up and to embrace that freedom.
Hey, you crystal guru, you.
Hello.
How are you? All right.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, and you?
You ready for this?
Well, yes. You're looking very blue today.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel blue. I feel good, actually.
Yeah.
There's a
you
nice
look
vibe out there.
There is.
Thank you so much for this. This is going to be superb.
No problem.
Thank you very much for... Amber's allowing us to go down with her. to her chamber down below to talk with our visitors. She's going to translate for us, hopefully find out a little bit more information about when they're arriving, what their intentions are. Do they need us to prepare anything? Food on the table, I don't know. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I shall try.
Descending into the shop's lower regions, Dominic enters Amber's meditation chamber with the hope of opening communications with the visitors.
We're flying now. You see the colours all around us.
With Amber Chakra being the only person who can communicate with the visitors, she is reluctant to give out too much information about her conversations, but does say that their intention for mankind is purely a heightened sexual one.
So we've had a lot of frightful problems with the travellers over the last few years. In fact, there was, as you're probably aware, and I've got the cuttings here and here, a pitched battle at Milton Meadow between the travellers and the police. Well, it was absolutely outrageous. I mean, these ruffians are carryings on that you wouldn't... I mean, they were beating up people in their sleep. I mean, there's things you wouldn't expect to take place in a war zone. And I mean, these people are filthy. They're infested with fleas and rats and mice. I mean, they're actually flicking their fleas at the arresting officers to as a means of defence, which is absolutely outrageous. And there was the case where they were bathing naked in the river, and in the end, the police had to pay them, had to buy diesel for these people to get them to move off the land. So you can see that it's been a complete nightmare for us, and Gwen is absolutely beside herself. I mean, particularly when her bush was so damaged by these marauders who came into the garden here. We pruned it hard back in the winter, but it never really recovered.
So yeah, that was a very interesting session. Amber's been in contact with the visitors, which I feel very humble about. What I'll do is correlate that information, pass it on to Oscar Steinman when he arrives. He could then get his ideas, his thoughts, his research together and present it to the journalists on the press night.
I feel like I've always been an outsider, that I never really belonged with modern society. But here I have peace. Here I have sanctuary. I'm at one with nature. And when the visitors come and take me away, I'll have pure spiritual existence.
To counteract the increasing invasion, Gwen Goody has recruited local residents to form the Friends of Ravenswood, an action group with the sole purpose of ridding the village of so-called undesirables.
Sorry, this is the village meeting that the Friends of Ravenswood, which is my husband and my daughter, we've organised this formal meeting with Councillor Gerald Burke, and this is to actually thrash things out properly with these people who call themselves the UFO Reception Committee. UFO Reception Committee, which is the most ridiculous name I've ever heard in my life. But finally, hopefully, we can formalise what's been going on here and have our voices heard. And I would like to think that it would serve an eviction notice on all the mystics and, quite frankly, trash who have invaded our village. We're trying to get back to normal, really. Trying to get back to normal. We'll get there.
Oscar Steinman is a leading authority on UFOs and alien abduction, and, after a long journey from the United States, finally arrives in England tired and exhausted.
It's not just what my career has been leading to. It's a momentous universal occasion. This is just about the biggest thing that's ever happened to this planet and every person on it. We'll just wait and see. It's huge, and it's going to be beautiful.
Dominic Clay, you're the local landowner. In fact, this entire field belongs to you. Tell me, what are you expecting to see when the UFO lands?
On the morning of the summer solstice, 21st of June, hopefully I think we're expecting something pretty...
Man, I can't stand him. Dear. It's all right. You know
All
what
those
he's
hippies.
talking about.
Oh, he doesn't. He's making it all up as he goes along. It's just a big ego trip for him.
He's putting us on the map, you know.
Oh, he's putting himself on the map. He just wants his face on television as much as possible. Oh, dear.
Oh,
it's
Mary,
so
it's
upsetting.
important what he's discovered.
Oh, I don't think I can stand this anymore. I'm sorry.
Don't be silly.
It's just too much.
Oh dear. Coming down from New Jersey, more famous ufologist. He can be investigating and researching the UFO return.
Yes.
Amber Chakra, of course, our local clairvoyant, who's in touch with the visitors.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So should be, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be very interesting.
Wanting to attract as much publicity as possible, Dominic and Oscar called a press conference to deliver their findings to journalists and the media.
Good morning, thank you very much for coming. My name's Dominic Clay, for those who don't know me. I'd like to introduce you to the world-renowned ufologist, come all the way over from United States of America, Mr. Oscar Steinman. Thank you, Oscar.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dominic Clay. Well, what can I say? Good morning and welcome to this, well, I believe, most exciting event. I will, of course, be fielding any questions you may have, and, well, let's just see where we go from there. I hope you're all as excited as I am. Great, okay. As you can see, I mean, from the information I have here, let me just give you an idea of how I work as a ufologist. Essentially, I gauge things on a scale here. I have a scale 1 through to 6. Now, if I'm honest with you, I have messed up big time because this is a level 7 event. This is exciting stuff, people. Okay, I'm talking, we are saying 1 to 6, out the window. We are talking 7, maybe even higher, who knows? I feel like a bit of an idiot for just coming up with 1 to 6, but there you go, okay. It's my belief that with this, we can create a safe environment for the landing and for whatever we have to deal with as that occurs. I think at this point of the proceedings, I'd like to invite Dominic back to the stage area to field any questions you may have for us. Please.
Yeah, thank you.
Beverly Trudgill, Ravenswood Gazette. Mr. Clay, there has been a lot of anger among the villagers about the unwelcome visitors increasing tenfold since you bought the Milton Meadow land, and this situation hasn't been improved by the UFO. So what do you have to say to this?
No comment. Next, please.
Mr. Steinman? Rob Bennett, Mythmakers Monthly. How reliable is your information from Amber Chakra? All this organising and preparation based on the word of one person?
I see you're a cynic. That's fine. We expect that in this line of work. I think it's irrefutable evidence that something is coming. It's a connection. That she should be so specific in her description. I don't know.
You think, only she communicates with them.
Mr. Steinman, Fraggle from Wicker World. There's a lot of people in our community who are saying that you are using this event as a cheap way of promoting the book that you're holding there. What can you say to us to allay our fears?
Well, let me put your mind at rest there. I believe, with the following I have, the book will sell itself.
Yeah.
This is an entirely separate event. We are talking about something that is of global significance, and it's much more than dollars and cents. It's much more than book sales. I'm frankly a little insulted by the accusation.
Mr. Steinman, Ross Brady, West Country Herald. How are you acquainted with Mr. Clay? Did you share the same abduction?
Very good. No, I myself have never been abducted.
Colin Ferry, Extraterrestrial Weekly. On the morning of the 21st of June, what do you really think is going to happen in Milton Meadow?
Well,
something phenomenal.
Yes. Believe me.
Something wonderful.
Level 7.
Level 7. Think that's 6, level 7. Be there.
Well, I've been brought in to mediate a meeting in the village by Gwen Goody and Edward Franklin Hall, and it's about these undesirables that are going to come in and invade the whole place. Gwen's in an absolute state about this, and dear Gwen said, please come along to the meeting and mediate. And I said, Gwen, I'm happy to do that. As a council member, I will come along. I have to be, I mustn't be partisan. I have to be on the middle, on the shelf. Now, IPA smart cookie Joan Harris, she has now tabulated all of this. She's got it all in a document. And we will be presenting this and bringing this along to the meeting. We did put some of this towards Gwen, and then, Gwen, of course, she has her sort of moments of challenging our authority in this community, But there it is. You have to listen to both sides of the story, and we will be there impartial, listening to both sides.
Not letting a damp morning dampen their spirits, the Friends of Ravenswood put their best foot forward and begin the leafleting campaign.
Well, I'm actually just on my way out canvassing, going off into the village, and I'll be meeting up with Gwen and Reggie a little later on this morning. We have these leaflets to distribute, you see, very important village meeting coming up. And so Gwen's roped me in to be one of the old foot soldiers,
The piece under here, I think. It's quite wet, it's going to need...
Yeah, we're going to take a break in a minute, Gwen. My feet are absolutely killing me.
Yes, I think a little light refreshment.
Yes, I think so.
Yes,
Yes, wonderful. Okay, good. Off we go then.
Reggie, envelope.
Well, it was Gwen's idea, which was a very good idea actually, to get a lot of pamphlets and posters and put them around the village. Here's one of them now. You see, about having a village meeting. And I think it's very important that we do this. And Audrey and Gwen and myself, we're going to put these up around the village today. And as soon as we get it done, then the better. Because quite honestly, don't tell them this, but I'd rather be back home in the garden. But I must say, Gwen's been an absolute brick all the way through this. Absolute
I'm
laugh.
a simple country kind of girl. Go to Sunday church, wear just a single pearl. You're the devil dressed in robes of light. When you touch my hand, I know that wrong is right. You said that you loved me and you'd hold me for a day, and then you lay me in the green grass and you rolled me in the hay. It's a wicked deed, this deed I do. If wicked you may be, I'll be bad too.
Gone downhill. It used to be terribly good. It used to be full of local produce, and now
It used to be wonderful and fresh, didn't it?
Yeah, they
Used to have
import.
wonderful melons.
Well, yes. I mean, they import everything.
Well,
now.
yes, I was having
Import.
this conversation with George, actually, the other day about that.
Well, he can't get his Swedes in here. They won't
Can
let
he
him.
not? They won't
No.
take them.
And as for those, look, those are imported dollars. And on
Oh,
whatever
are
that
they?
awful pink lady thing that they do. I mean, it's ridiculous. I prefer cocks.
Interestingly, not all the villagers agree with Gwen's plan of action.
Well, I've been asked by my congregation, primarily Mrs. Goody, to put up this poster. Have your voice heard? Village meeting. There, it's done.
Been nothing but problems, has it, mate?
All the time.
They've absolutely
All the
been
time.
coming in. They've been causing more problem than you could ever possibly understand.
Oh, Jim, yep.
Jim, yeah, I know Jim. I know, he's the guy.
Other morning, he's got another of them crap circles up there.
Oh, the crap circles as well, is he?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I
There's
really
another
don't.
one. They're cropping up all over the place, boy.
Although weary from the morning's leafleting, Gwen Goody and her followers are feeling positive.
Hello. Definitely been worth it. Oh.
Well, we are run off our feet. What can I say? Poor Audrey's got blisters
I
on her
certainly
balls.
have. I
Balls.
certainly have. I
You
can't
shouldn't wear
wait.
heels. I told you not to wear heels.
Well, no, I agree. It
We've
wasn't
been
very sensible.
around the village and we've been canvassing like crazy, and most people, I think, have been very amenable, and they're on our side, aren't they?
Yes, the WI is fully supportive.
Absolutely. We managed to get posters up in most of the
Yes,
shops,
the
which
posters
is
are up.
wonderful, except that awful clairvoyant, whatever. But anyway, we stood
Yes.
clear well of that one. We
Look, plenty of leaflets to letterboxes.
We
Plenty of
certainly
leaflets.
did, yes, and it's a most successful day, I feel. And I think if we do get the support behind us that people say they're going to give us, we will drive all this scum out of Ravenswood once and for all.
Village meeting. You see that? Once again, they think we're the counterculture, but we're not. The counterculture's all that other stuff. We're the culture. Just a lack of understanding, it really is.
I had a UFO experience once. It was in the 70s. I was living in Mill Hill, and one Sunday evening It was sunny, and from the park on the right, this sort of inverted cup without a handle came up. Little holes with lights coming out, and it moved very slowly and quietly because I had the window open. And over towards the trees, doing an half of the arc. Perfect it was. Slowly, and disappeared into the trees. It was amazing. And this is a painting of me, made about 26 years ago, around the time I saw the UFO. And this is a painting of my dear wife Mary, in earlier days, when she enjoyed reading in the solitude of her own home.
Oh, the leafleting campaign, because obviously it's a subject dear to my heart, and I wanted to give support. You know, sometimes I just can't face going out, and I just had to go and lie down in a dark room.
I know, and I think what I think, and I know I'm right. Throughout my whole being, I know I'm right.
Councillor Burke and his assistant, Joan Harris, leave the council offices for the meeting, unsure of what to expect. Gwen Goody has always been Dominic Clay's fiercest opponent, so he has learned to tread lightly.
I really don't understand the villagers' attitude towards us. There's always something going down. Even last year at the summer solstice, Gwen turned up with a video camera to try and capture incriminating evidence.
I just came down here undercover, actually. A suggestion of George. He was going to, but he thought I might blend in a little bit better because I've got long hair. And there's a man with a stick. These are the strange sort of people who come down here. This man with his big stick. I don't know what he's going to do with that. And then we have all these strange people. Look at these girls. They're wearing long dresses. The only time you would see dresses like that is at a wedding.
At the village hall, the Friends of Ravenswood unite in united solidarity.
I'd just like to get a few words from the Friends of Ravenswood. I'm Bev Trudgill from the Gazette. Nice to meet you all. I know a few of you from all the various things I've been covering. Gwen Good, I believe. I know you from a lot of the things you do in the... Goody, very good. So, Goody.
Gwen Goody.
I do apologise. Okay, let me just see. Yep. Had a bit of a spillage in my bag, it's not working very well. Okay. What do you, as a moral, upstanding, God-worshipping lady of the village, what's your opinion of the influx of, let's say, undesirables that's descended on the
Well, it's appalling. We've all been suffering for such a long time. We've all had damage to our property. It's absolutely appalling. This is why we've come to this stage now where we've had to bring in the council. We have Mr. Gerald Burke here, especially, who is going to run this meeting for us and hopefully set some, I think, legal parameters through which we can solve this problem once and for all.
So when exactly did you decide that you weren't going to just lie back and take it, so to speak?
Well, I think since the latest outrage connected with the desecration of the village pond, and that was the last straw for many of us.
With a tense atmosphere that even a blunt knife could slice through, the opposing parties enter the meeting room. The villagers are keen to avoid a repeat of the damage the village sustained in recent years from travellers.
Good morning, everybody. Morning. I'm here from the Friends of Ravenswood Committee, Gwen, who's invited me to come and chair this meeting. Now, as you know, there are, in 3 days' time, a huge amount of activities that are going to take place in this village, and there's a lot of concern. There are lots of different people here who have very, very different opinions.
There's no problem.
Yeah, well, yeah. Because remember what happened last time, the amount of money that the council had to spend doing this place up again. You know, cats sprayed, cows run off the lands, eggs.
£77,000.
Absolutely. And that came out of your local taxes. Remember this. Now, I'm just going to invite my PA, Joan Harris. Please. Now my kid's going to come and join me.
Now, I don't know if any of you remember the case of Chadwell. There's a village that's not that far away from here. Remember Chadwell? There was an apparition of the Virgin Mary, and it attracted hordes of pilgrims. So there's nothing to do with it. Just can you hear me out? What was different is that the locals were consulted about how they should deal with this phenomenon. And in the papers, they actually had a proper consultation. And the people of the village were able to then go to the council and were able to properly provide licensed retail places for food, etc. They were able to provide toilets and to accommodate these people. We have had no consultation. We have had no negotiation.
Order, please.
Thank you. Gwen, please, we are having a meeting. This is what this meeting is about.
It's very, very late in the day. Dominic has done nothing.
But listen.
Come on, what's that? What are you thinking? What's
just my files, the records.
I think it is important perhaps to interject.
Have you ever come to talk?
If we cast our minds back to the damage that was done by coachloads of nuns, let alone coachloads of travellers, it's possibly politically correct, perhaps we are getting some perspective of the scale of damage that we can expect. Mr. Clay, it's very, very amusing of you to sit here shaking your head. You're talking about respect. I think you might like to take your hat off. There are ladies present in this room. We would love to welcome you, but we have, when you go, we will have a village still to look after, still to care about. The same village we have been caring about for generations. I will apologize.
I think in 3 days' time, after the visitors have arrived, this village will be drastically different, as is the world. It is a historic occasion.
I tell you what, Mr. Clay, you are earning a pretty penny out of this, letting these people onto your land.
Gwen, Mr. Clay will require a very special license.
An entertainment license. You need to purchase an entertainment license to have more than 10 people on your land.
Mr. Burke, this is my land. What I do on my land is my business.
It is the law. If you don't have the license, you would be liable to prosecution.
Well, we'll see about that.
Tens of thousands.
We'll see about that.
You are now outside of the law, Dominic. You think that you are, but there are rules and regulations and licenses and all sorts of things that you have to have.
And
coaches on our land. Your people have no self-control or discipline. They are all over our land. Have you any idea of the
Please, some old...
Gwen, can you please stop making it personal?
I'll tell you what I'll do.
It's personal because we all live here, Mr. Clare.
I'll ask the aliens to sort of come back in 6 months' time because of administration reasons.
Shh, now quiet please, now listen. We have some very important figures which you need to listen to.
Figures obtained from Central Council indicate that there was £250,000 worth of damage done last year, which was directly attributable to the travelling community presence. This damage included property, flora and fauna, animals, vehicles, clearance of rubbish, sanitation, etc., etc., etc.
And remember, this comes out of your taxes.
Think about it. Now, there has been a petition. We need to know this. A petition. Edward Franklin Hall, the most important person of your community, has in fact put a petition. There are 200 signatures on this. Very significant.
If I may come through the chairman to chairman. Quiet! We have a petition. I think it is pertinent, extremely pertinent to this meeting, that I mentioned that this petition had been signed by over 200 local residents, that are people that have been living in this village for some time, in some cases generations, and hope there will be a village to still continue to live in. I'd also like to add, if I can, Councillor, there are letters of support from local businessmen, the British Legion, the Rotary clubs. Here we have a cross-section of our community that are clearly, alas, very opposed to Mr. Clay's use of his land, use of his property.
Excuse me, Doctor. Audrey has other evidence as well.
I've just come from the area WR meeting, actually, and I would like to remind Councillor Burke that he has helped us with distributing our anti-street clutter audit forms, which we are supporting the English Heritage Campaign for reducing clutter in the streets.
We respect heritage.
Why do you keep erecting all of these signs? Welcome UFOs and aliens. It's
Come
clutter.
on. 300 plus.
My heart bleeds for your lost sheep because they don't know what they're doing. They're on a road paved all the way to hell. Dominic, listen to me. Open your heart before it's too late. I'm trying to teach you about love. I am teaching you about the highest love that there ever was. Behold, I stand at the door and I knock. If anyone hear my voice and open the door, I will come in and sup with him and he with me. Dominic, Jesus is banging hard. Can you hear him?
I can hear him very well, thank you very much.
Open your heart to him before it's too late. You are all doomed to hell. You are doomed to hell.
Back of this, I'm
Sorry I'm late. Did I miss anything?
Well,
Thank you, Mr. Burke.
that was very, very interesting about the 1990s. Right of Way Act. It was a High Court. That was 1988.
We still haven't got to how we should get rid of it.
I'm sorry I'm in Hampshire. I know I've got this.
You always something love by going home. Tidy up first.
Come to Ravenswood.
Christian, all right. Thank you everyone for a lovely meeting.
Go home.
The army would have sorted this out.
It's not my name.
Lay about.
I've decided to bake a cake for the aliens because they'll be very hungry when they get here. 50 billion light years or something, I don't know. But there is a tradition in the village to do with baking a cake for weary travellers, and I thought it'd be a lovely idea. Although I have to say, I think some of the locals will probably put something horrible in it, like arsenic. I'm going to put some decoration on it that says "Welcome back." Isn't that nice? I'm sure they'll like it. It's a Victoria sponge. Didn't want anything too heavy. Thought they might, don't know what their digestive systems will be prepared for and everything.
The potentially historic day has arrived. It's the morning of the 21st of June, the summer solstice, and selected press, New Age pilgrims and paranormal investigators start to gather in Milton Meadow.
It's going to be a close encounter.
I'm trying to keep myself really calmed and paced. I don't want to peak too early. So I'm doing what I usually do at the summer solstice, and I'm getting an offering together for the fairies, because it is their day as well, and they get really upset if you forget about them. So I've just been picking some flowers, and I'm going to give an offering to the fairies.
It's the most important day of the year, and that's why we all come together, and we need to share a new life, new love, and and you can feel the atmosphere, you can feel the vibrations, and we want to be able to plant our seed any way we can, really.
Morris, where are you going dressed like that?
I'm going to Milton Meadow.
Oh, no, you're not.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly not.
Sir, I want to see the UFO.
No, there's no such thing as a UFO. You stay home.
Not wanting to be prosecuted, Dominic reluctantly keeps the number of people on his land to a minimum.
Listen, I'm Beverly Trudgill from the Gazette, by the way,
yeah.
and you are?
I'm Nigel.
Right, from?
It's independent. I'm just working for it.
From the Independent?
No, I'm an independent. So.
Well,
this means an awful lot to me, obviously, and Dominic, because I'm waiting for this for a long time, and it's good to share this with everybody, you know, the Earth family, and the atmosphere is amazing here. You can really feel the vibes, and yeah, it's going to be just out of this world, literally.
This is such an opportunity. It's a wave of opportunity. It's a tidal wave. It's the tsunami of opportunities, and we need to surf it, and we need to get out our surfboards of love and just ride this wave.
Hi. Dominic, hi, how are you? Everyone okay?
Yeah, all right.
I've never met you before, haven't I?
Of course,
How are you?
yes.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you again.
Everything's going to plan. I'll say we've got about half an hour to go. So if you just want to snap away.
Which direction do you reckon it's going to be?
Well, it should be coming from northeast.
From that way.
Okay.
Right, okay.
That's the theory that Amber's given us. Okay, so just relax.
Okay.
Okay, and hopefully this will be quite a new story for you. Okay, but if you want me, I'll just be over the back. So, okay.
My name is Mike Butter. I'm a paranormal investigator. That is my specialist field. I look into things like flying objects, extraterrestrials with strong opinions, that sort of thing. Sending me to a place like Ravenswood is a bit like sending a dog to investigate a plate of meat. I'm licking it, I'm sniffing it, and I'm asking it as many questions as I can. So you've recorded this?
Well, yeah, because sometimes I forget things. I'm quite forgetful, so if I've got this, and I can't read my own writing sometimes, then I've got something. Listen.
One Sunday evening in town, and it wasn't a reflection of an aeroplane.
As self-appointed ambassador for Earth, Oscar nervously prepares his first contact speech.
Hello, and welcome back to Earth. Back to Earth. Welcome to Earth. Welcome to Earth. Have a nice day. Have a nice day.
Oh, it's so exciting. I think they're going to bring so much love and so much that they can teach us. And I'm going to offer my body as a vessel so they can plant their seed, so we can join our races together.
It's really following the flow of energy from my Earth family that I think just being here is so peaceful, and the energy, and I just feel there's something so beautiful going to happen, and we want to be here to welcome them.
Dominic and Oscar. Can I just have a few words with you on the special day?
Certainly.
How do you feel today?
Terribly excited.
Very, very excited.
So, what are we expecting to happen then at 11 o'clock?
Something historic, something magnificent, and something wonderful. It's a time for celebration. It really is, especially today being the summer solstice.
I can feel it! I can feel it! I can feel it!
Like a spiritual air traffic controller, Amber takes up position in her meditation chamber and prepares for contact with the Kaplunak. Meanwhile, the goodies prepare for the event in their own way.
Upon all the transgressions of this beautiful village where we live and love, and also to forgive the transgressions in our own hearts, which must have brought thy vengeance heavily down on us. We ask this in the name of thy Son, the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Kaplunak.
Rosebud in June, and the violets in full bloom, and the small birds are singing.
Once again, they think we're the counterculture, but we're not. The counterculture is all that other stuff. We're the culture.
they think that he's pirates who come down here on some being.
I wish for peace and understanding amongst the villagers. And I know I'm right. Throughout my whole being, I know I'm right.
On the morning of the 21st of June, what do you really think is going to happen at Milton Meadow?
Something magnificent, something wonderful.
This is just about the biggest thing that's ever happened to this planet.
And the
every
lads
person on
and the lasses to sheep shearing go.
Okay, that'd be great, thank you.
Dominic, do you mind if I have a word? Oh yeah, I made a cake for the aliens. You know I made a cake for the aliens. I'm just a bit cross because all your hippie friends are eating it. I think they thought it had hashish in it or something, but I wouldn't do that to the aliens.
Are you all right?
Because they're going to have had enough trouble getting here as it is, and if they're all stoned off there...
I know you worked
I
hard on
don't
that
smoke
cake.
pot.
Oh,
I don't like people who smoke pot, and I don't like you.
Darling.
Bit of a problem. They're overshooting Milton Meadow. We're not going to go there.
Oscar initiates contact with Amber.
Come on, Amber.
But something appears to be wrong.
Come on, pick up. Hey, Dominic! Mouse phone, it's dead.
What? You charged it? Try on my phone, it's all right. Huh? Mine's dead.
What?
Oh no! Don't do this to us! Don't do this to us!
We don't have time. We don't have time. Keep trying. I'm going.
Okay.
Having to suddenly improvise, Oscar takes up position at the reception point.
Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. On earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but
Deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to ask you to leave now. I'm really sorry. If we could just ask you to leave, if you'll understand that we need to be on our own. Thank you very much.
Please, could you just go now, please?
If this UFO lands here today, that will be the reason for us to become whole again. I mean, nature's so delicate, and it's just... I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe it's the hay fever. I'm at one with nature. And when the visitors come and take me away, I'll have pure spiritual existence.
As excitement mounts, something unexpected is about to happen.
There's something happening in the goodies field!
Excuse me.
You're definitely coming this way.
Disappointed that the visitors decided to park elsewhere, Dominic and Oscar realise that this historic moment may have been lost by nothing more than a large hedgerow. The village has returned to some sense of normality, but the spiritual magnet continues for many people. There is still talk and pondering on what actually happened on the day of the summer solstice. Was there an incident, or was it believers' over-imagination?
I'm very disappointed because I can't hear them anymore. It's like really empty. Nobody comes around. Perhaps it's because I stood them up. I don't know.
Whatever happened 2 weeks ago, I'm disappointed not to have gone with them. But maybe my path to spiritual enlightenment is here. And anyway, I think I've found the other half to my soul. And I couldn't desert him now.
I'm really disappointed. All the work that Amber and myself has put into this. Oscar, he's disappointed. I've gone back to New Jersey. I do hope they return one day. I really do. I don't know what happened. I'm feeling pretty glum about it, actually. But I believe in my heart that they'll return.
And what of the Goody family? No one has seen them since that fateful day. With no hard evidence, we may never know what really happened here. It will now be up to the conspiracy theorists to speculate and debate whether an unexplained phenomenon did indeed return to Ravenswood.
A village affair is a terrible treat. You never quite know who you'll meet in the street. There's goodies galore at the Ravenswood Fair. Just follow the ley line, you'll find your way there. The Ravenswood reel, the Ravenswood reel. Come spin me your secrets and turn me your wheel. The Ravenswood reel, the Ravenswood reel. What goes round will come round, the Ravenswood reel. The fairies and heathens are skipping on clay. The priest and the priestess are learning to pray. There's treason and Jesus and leaves on the trees. Now follow your heart, you can do as you please. The Ravenswood reel, the Ravenswood reel. Come spin me your secrets and turn me your wheel. The Ravenswood reel, the Ravenswood reel. What goes round will come round, the Ravenswood reel. Come fiddle and play with the council of fools. It's ever so simple to follow the rules. Whatever you do, just leave nothing to chance. There's frolics and fun with the lord of the dance. The Ravenswood reel, the Ravenswood reel. Come spin me your secrets and turn me your wheel. The Ravenswood reel, the Ravenswood reel. What goes round will come round, the Ravenswood reel. Sightseers welcome for roses and June, and up in the skies you'll see Burkhair and Moon. This pinch of salt story is sold by the yard. Just open your chakras and swallow it hard. The Ravenswood reel, the Ravenswood reel. Come spin me your secrets and turn me your wheel. The Ravenswood reel, the Ravenswood reel. What goes round will come round, the Ravenswood reel. The Ravenswood reel, the Ravenswood reel. The Ravenswood reel, the Ravenswood reel, the Ravenswood reel, the Ravenswood reel, the Ravenswood reel.
Get off my lass!